Hello and welcome back to Organizational Behavior, OHR 3514. This is Dr. Maggie Vivoda, and I am here to discuss managing change within an organization. Organizational change. There's actually two different kinds of changes. One is planned change and one is unplanned change. Regardless of which type of change we're discussing, the truth is that managers must be prepared to handle both. Planned change is change resulting from a deliberate decision to alter the organization. For example, an organization that sells a particular product, let's just choose one, Carnival Cruise Lines, decides that they're going to build a new ship and that they're going to roll out the introduction of the ship in July of 2015. Well, there are a lot of changes that are going to be made within the organization to accommodate that change. The sales force needs to be prepared, managers need to be prepared, so everyone knows that this change is coming. It's not unexpected. Then you have unplanned change, a change that is imposed on the organization and it is often unforeseen. Let's say, once again, we're talking about Carnival Cruise Lines, Carnival Corporation, and the CEO of Carnival Corporation suddenly leaves, departs, decides to go work in another organization. The company is left without a CEO and basically left without the leader who provides the vision for the entire organization. So the entire organization must meet this unplanned change. There are external forces for change, like ethical behavior, technological change, workforce diversity, and globalization all lead into change that occurs in the workplace. I think one of the biggest things we've seen over the last few years is technological change. At one point, in pretty much every office, everything was done only on paper and pen. Now it's all computer, right? So technological change has been very dramatic. Behavior has kind of dropped to an all-time low during Enron, and then with the Sarbanes-Oxley Act has come back to actually ensure that corporations are more transparent. Workforce diversity has definitely changed the workplace because you have so many different age groups, different generations, different nationalities, etc., religions. And then, of course, globalization is can pretty much account for considerable change. At one point, without the internet, everything, well, I'd say the predominant amount of business was done domestically, whereas now it's actually business is conducted internationally. So globalizations, organizations must rethink the most efficient ways to use their resources, disseminate and gather information, and develop people. This will involve an interaction between structural change and mental change. Technological change, organizational structure change, work relationship changes, technology changes. These all interplay and interact with one another. Actually, technology is kind of interesting in the fact that people communicate with each other differently. Work relationships have changed. Sometimes you have no idea what the person even looks like that you're working with because they're over in Asia or in Europe. Ethical behavior, ethical treatment. You want ethical treatment within the society, for customers, environment, and other organizations. Ethical behavior, basically ethical treatment, means you know the difference between right and wrong, and you treat people accordingly. Now, globalization, which we just mentioned in the last slide, kind of ties into this because there are actually countries where bribery is considered acceptable. Not so much in the United States at all, it's considered illegal, but in other countries it's almost standard business fare. So you want to behave ethically, but once you are dealing on a global basis, I believe things change a little bit more dramatically. But you want to treat your customers ethically and behave as a socially responsible company that is respectful of the environment. Internal forces for change. What are those? Well, changing work climates, declining effectiveness, company crisis, changing employee expectations. These are all reasons why change has to take place. A company crisis could be the departure of the CEO. It could be, for example, the Tylenol scare years ago, where the bottles of Tylenol were tainted and people actually died as a result of taking these tainted pills. That created a company crisis. Declining effectiveness would be, in other words, what you were doing before isn't working anymore for your organization. The changing work climate, that involves the employees within the organization itself, and changing employee expectations. What do employees expect of the workplace? Now we know employees basically expect safety and security to start, but these days I believe employees expect so much more in terms of, for example, even they want more continuing education courses. They want to learn. They want to be promoted. So changing employee expectations also can be an internal force for change. What is a change agent? And this is always an interesting job description, but it's the individual or group who undertakes the task of introducing and managing a change in an organization. Effective change leaders build relationships within the leadership team, between the team and organizational members, between the team and key environmental players. The change agent has a very challenging and daunting task because generally employees resist change. And it is up to the change agent to persuade employees that whatever change is coming through the organization is one that is going to benefit them and the organization as a whole. The typical characteristics of a change agent: they're usually young, 25 to 40 years old, generally female, flexible, people-oriented, but tough decision makers. They focus on performance results. They energize people. They operate in multiple leadership styles, and they're comfortable with uncertainty. Because as you're going through change, you really don't know what to expect within an organization. You're going to run across people who really don't want change, resistant to change, and it's your job to convince them otherwise. Internal change agents. Well, the advantages of that are they know the past history, the political system, and the culture. They must live with the results of the change, so they'll be careful as they progress forward. The disadvantages is that, unfortunately, they may be associated with factions accused of favoritism. For example, a change may affect other people within their various departments, but not the department they happen to be in, which could be viewed as favoritism. And sometimes you can't see the forest for the trees, so it may be too close to the situation to be objective. External change agents, well, outsiders' objective view and impartiality are big advantages to external change agents. These are people brought in from the outside. But the disadvantages is they generally have a limited knowledge of the organization's history, and they're generally viewed with suspicion. Many employees get concerned when they see change agents come in that their job is at risk, when actually all they're there to do is to ensure that a change takes place and goes smoothly. External change agents. To succeed, external change agents must be perceived as trustworthy, must be experts with proven track records, and must be similar to those they are working with. Why do employees resist change? Well, fear of the unknown, fear of loss, like job loss, fear of failure, disruption of interpersonal relationships, personality conflicts, politics, cultural assumptions and values. Unfortunately, people are in a particular comfort zone. When there's a suggestion that change needs to be made, let's say even as simple as, oh, we're going to be introducing a new software system. Right away, everyone gets concerned. Am I not going to be able to handle that? I'm not sure that this will work for me. I'm not that tech savvy. I might lose my job. And their mind races to all these different ideas. So you can see why people resist change. Now, how do you manage the resistance to change? Number one, communication. Provide details, as many as you can provide. There are some that you're not allowed to or not enabled to, but ensure that you communicate with the employees, provide details and a rationale. Why are we doing this? What is the purpose? Participation in the process. Take ownership, show commitment. And if you see an employee struggling with the proposed change, provide empathy and give them support, and specifically answer their questions. Well, I do hope you enjoyed this PowerPoint presentation. Please remember that this PowerPoint presentation is designed to augment or enhance textbook learning. I do hope you have a wonderful day. Thank you.